With it not being too far past Halloween, I received an email from Mike Cohn that I wanted to share with you, and it was called Agile Trick or Treat. And it starts out, "Hi Lee, happy Halloween. What do you like best about the holiday? The candy, the costumes, or the scariness? The scariness always wins for me, although a fun-sized Snickers bar is hard to resist. But there's a good scary and a bad scary. I've seen that adopting the agile approach to product development can be scary as a Halloween movie or a ghost story. One thing that can be scary to some is the assumption that agile is more stressful. And if true, that would really suck. No one wants more stress in their life. But let's take a closer look at those practices or aspects of agile that seem like they could increase stress. For example, collaborating with others more frequently and intensely could take away the quiet, recharging time needed by some, especially introverts. This can be frightening, and a good Scrum Master or coach could assess whether team members are getting enough time for solo work. Designated hours for this can go a long way. Similarly, having a report daily on yesterday's progress and today's plan can feel like nonstop pressure, which could be frightening. A good Scrum Master or coach could address this too by ensuring that the daily meetings are for team members to synchronize their work rather than allowing the creepy impression that everyone is just checking up on them. Sometimes this message needs to be shared with those outside the team. Other times, team members themselves need to be reminded the purpose is merely to synchronize and coordinate their effort. One of the more frightening stresses of Agile is that deadlines are never more than a few weeks away. However, because of their frequency, these deadlines are generally less important than the one big deadline traditionally managed in traditionally managed projects. I sometimes think about the difference in these deadlines and in terms of running on a treadmill. A traditionally managed or waterfall project with one big deadline is like running a hill profile. It's nice and easy for a while until a hill starts, and then it's extremely difficult and stressful. And then the pattern repeats, and pretty low stress for a long time, and then really stressful at the end, which is when a team tries to get the project over the big hill. In contrast, Agile is like setting a treadmill at 2% incline and leaving it there for the duration of your run. It's moderately stressful, but never excessively so. As team members become accustomed to the smaller deadlines and that conclude each iteration, these become far less frightening. Transitioning to Agile can be frightening. In fact, there are many articles out there that talk about overcoming these fears. And, here's what I've got to say about this. This is an interesting article. And I love, Mike, how you tied it into Halloween and the scariness of it. I did an AI doesn't need to be scary thing for Halloween. So we're both on the same page with what we're trying to do. But what I can tell you is this. There's a lot of interesting fodder in this email. So first of all, when you're talking about scariness, Agile doesn't need to be scary, but I think sometimes the people themselves just make Agile scary because they're not sure how to engage or when to engage or what to engage. And the people make it scarier than it really needs to be. I've seen that as the case many times. So the question becomes, how do you not make it scary? And I think that the three topics that he covered first was collaborating more frequently and intensely could take away the quiet recharging time of individuals. I always say that this meeting should be 30 seconds per person, not to exceed 15 minutes. And on average, my daily runs anywhere from 6 to 7 minutes for most teams. And I feel like if teams know that it's only 6 to 7 minutes and it's just to check in to recollect and get everybody back on the same page, and it's not necessarily a status report and there's no one that they're reporting to and there's no output from the meeting, it makes it a whole lot easier for the team to understand that it's a non-pressure meeting and it's easy to do. The other thing is that deadlines are never more than a few weeks away. I love this. I tell people all the time that you should set a sprint goal. And if you set a sprint goal, your goal should indicate your deadline, so to speak, right? So if you have a sprint goal that every sprint you're going to do something, then that alleviates this long-term stress of having goals that are longer or huge or heavier, and it takes the stress off the team to try to even things out over the whole course of the project or over the whole course of the release. and allows teams to focus on what's happening right then in the then and now. And I think that the way that people do report, what do you do yesterday? What are you doing today? Do you have any impediments? That's got to change too. I like saying things. What's happening? What did you commit to complete yesterday, and did you wrap it up? This way, they could say, yesterday I said I was going to do this, and I did. And it's a little bit different than just saying what you did yesterday. I ask people what they commit to do the following day, and then I ask them if they have an impediment, why did you wait until now to talk about it? And it sounds confrontational, but what I mean by it is I want people to get in the habit of talking about impediments sooner and not waiting until this meeting and saying, oh, well, this is the meeting where we talk about the impediments, so we're going to do it here, right? So if you can focus on those three things, you can be a much, much more powerful Scrum Master. Now, I'm going to give all of you a preview. We are putting out something called the Definitive Scrum Master Guide. Now, the Definitive Scrum Master Guide is almost like a guide of Scrum Master superpowers, and it's going to be a multi-page document, and it's going to have one section for beginning Scrum Masters and one section for more senior Scrum Masters, and it's even going to have a scorecard that you can use to score your capabilities to say, hey, how am I doing? And you can track your progress, whether you're improving or falling away. And it's a good way for teams to be able to evaluate their Scrum Masters as well. So that document's going to be coming out very, very soon. We're in the final throes of pulling it together and making sure all the images are good and making it nice and clean. So keep your eyes open for that document. You'll be seeing it very soon. That's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at agiledad.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friend. Thank you again, Mike, for the email, and do take care. Bye now.